Have you ever questioned the idea that gender is strictly binary, male or female, and nothing in between? Welcome to a world where gender is not confined to black and white, but encompasses a vast spectrum. This is the concept of gender fluidity, a significant and increasingly recognized aspect of our modern society. It defies conventional norms, urging us to reevaluate our understanding of gender. If you believe that gender is binary, then this video might change your perspective. There are several myths about gender fluidity that often mislead people and create misconceptions. Let's delve into some of the most common ones and shed some light on the truth. One of the most widespread myths is that gender fluidity is a new trend. This is far from the truth. Throughout history, many cultures across the globe have recognized and respected various forms of non-binary gender identities. From the two-spirit people in many Native American cultures to the Hijra community in South Asia, gender fluidity has been acknowledged and celebrated for centuries. It's not a trend, but a reality for many, which only recently has been gaining more visibility and acceptance in mainstream society. Another common myth is that gender fluidity is a mental illness. This belief is not only harmful, but also unfounded. The World Health Organization, one of the most respected health authorities in the world, declassified transgender identity as a mental disorder in 2018. It's crucial to understand that being gender fluid is not a pathology, but a genuine part of human diversity. It's about an individual's understanding of their own identity, which is deeply personal and cannot be pathologized. Some people also believe that gender fluid people are just confused. This is another gross oversimplification. Gender fluid individuals have a strong sense of their identity, which may change over time or vary in different contexts. It's not about confusion, but about embracing the fluidity of their gender experience. Lastly, some argue that gender fluidity encourages stereotypes. On the contrary, gender fluidity challenges the binary concept of gender and encourages people to break free from rigid gender norms and stereotypes. It promotes the idea that gender is not solely determined by biological sex, but is a complex interplay of biology, culture, personal identity, and experience. These myths only serve to spread confusion and misinformation about what gender fluidity truly means. It's time we move beyond these misconceptions and strive for a more inclusive and understanding society. Now let's debunk these myths one by one. First off, the myth that gender fluidity is a modern trend or a fad. Well, the truth is, gender fluidity has been recognized in many cultures throughout history. Native American cultures, for instance, recognized two-spirit people who embodied both masculine and feminine spirits. In India, Hijras, who might be eunuchs, intersex or transgender, have been acknowledged for centuries. So it's not a trend, it's a deep-seated part of human diversity. The next myth is that gender fluidity is a mental illness. That's not true. The American Psychiatric Association, the World Health Organization, and many other reputable health organizations have categorically stated that being transgender or gender fluid is not a mental disorder. Gender dysphoria, the distress a person feels due to a mismatch between their gender identity and their assigned sex, is recognized as a medical condition, but it's essential to note that not all gender fluid people experience this distress. Another common myth is that gender fluid people are just confused. This couldn't be further from the truth. Studies show that most gender fluid people have a clear and persistent understanding of their gender identity from a young age. They're not confused, they just don't fit into the traditional binary gender system. The fourth myth is that you can always tell if someone is gender fluid. The reality is, you can't judge someone's gender identity by their appearance. Gender identity is an internal, deeply held sense of one's gender. It's not something you can determine by looking at someone. Lastly, the myth that gender fluidity is unnatural. This is completely false. Many species in the animal kingdom display gender fluidity or gender change, like certain fish and reptiles. So, it's definitely a natural occurrence. The truth about gender fluidity is far from these myths. It's about embracing the spectrum of gender identities. So, what have we learned today? We've unpacked the concept of gender fluidity, a spectrum that allows for a more flexible understanding of gender. We've broken down common myths, like the idea that it's a phase or a trend, and we've replaced these misconceptions with facts. Gender fluidity is as real and as valid as any other identity. Remember, understanding and accepting gender fluidity is a step towards a more inclusive and accepting society. Let's not let myths cloud our judgment. Before we wrap up, we have a simple but important request for you all. If you valued this video and wish to delve deeper into social issues, subscribe our channel.